Good morning, everybody, and welcome to what I'm sure will be a quiet, uneventful stream. Yeah. Alright, so, we are here for the day 3 of the Tactician's Crown, where 8 of the best players are going to get crowned. One of them will get crowned the champion. Yeah. It's been a weird day. Yeah. I obviously started early because I'm sure we want to talk about what happened yesterday. And what I will say, hilariously enough, if you've ever seen the meme where the guy brings back the box of pizzas and everything's on fire, that was literally me yesterday, because literally we were watching the games yesterday. Everything was good. Co-stream was fine. I logged off, went to my family. My family's like, we want Little Caesars, Dad. Go get us Little Caesars. And I was like, okay. So I left. I get Little Caesars. And for me, I'm living out in the middle of nowhere now. So that's like a 25-minute drive. And then get the Little Caesars, come back, 25-minute drive. So I've been gone like an hour. And then I look at, while I'm driving, my phone's going crazy. It's like, what the hell happened? Oh. So that was my day yesterday, which then, devolved into, in between trying to spend time with my family, trying to read everything, and then staying up too late, reading everything and watching everything, and then waking up early, being nervous about talking about it, and reading everything, and watching everything. When I tell you I read and watch everything, I watched Sub-Zero Arc's videos, Cleave's videos. I watched the 2 clips he did. I read all the Reddit. I've read everything. I've read all about it. I've watched all the clips, and yeah, it was pretty crazy. So for those of you wondering what happened, there was a clip that went around in one of the other lobbies we weren't watching, where a player made a pretty gross misplay. Which immediately was pointed out to be a potential win trade, and got everyone up in arms, especially because it made a difference in the standings, and people were very, very angry about it. So yeah. So I'm willing to talk about it, but let me make sure here. Oh, yeah, Disco, if you're watching this, yeah, that's fine. So, I'm willing to talk about it, but I have to go into a lot of detail beforehand. And so you're going to have to bear with me. So, but I've been thinking a lot about this, about how I wanted to talk about it. So, and here's the thing. I'm going to pull up this notepad, and we're going to keep some big notes here. But the first thing I want to say is that right away, I know that I could talk about this for an hour, and most people have already made up their mind about the situation, and nothing I could say is really going to change that. That's just how the world is nowadays. It's very hard to convince people to change what they believe in a situation. And so, honestly, the easy path for me would just be like, I can't talk about it, guys. And it'd be safe, and it'd be easy, and it wouldn't be hard. But I live by a principle here, which is honesty is always right, and the truth is worth saying regardless of how hard it is. And you can see that I've lived by this, by things like the learnings articles, where I'm willing to be like, yeah, we made something and it was shitty, and there were people at Riot that didn't agree with me when I started those things, because it was like, why would we say that? And it's like, because it's the truth. That's just how I am. I think it is important to talk about the truth regardless, even if it means everyone's going to be like, yeah, but you're just an idiot and I hate you and you're stupid and you're old and you're fat. Yep. So, is what it is. The other thing is that I am a very cold and logical person. I'm not that emotional. Usually when I'm being emotional, it's kind of an act. I'm kind of like playing into it a little bit. But I am a very you know, some of you have joked around that, like, maybe I have autism or something. Who knows? Maybe I do. But I am a very cold and logical person. And I can find my way to pull back on things and look at all the sources. It's actually helped me a lot as a game developer because I use that logic to have very good player empathy. And so I am going to type that, like, I have high empathy towards players and all possible outcomes. That is something I think through a lot of the time. Now, in my approach of how I think about things like this, I found two principles have actually helped me a lot personally when I think through these situations. They're two pretty common principles. The first one, Occam's razor. The most likely scenario, let me actually get it right so I'm not an idiot. The simplest, the best one is the simplest explanation is likely the best one. And so a common thing here is it's like, well, my pizza's late. Is it because the pizza company hates me and they're evil or whatever, and because they got lost, or is it just because, like, my address is hard to find? Like, it's probably the latter, right? And so oftentimes when I'm like, I wonder what happened, I use Occam's razor to kind of go, well, it's probably this incredibly likely scenario, and usually that's the case. The second one here is Hanlon's razor. And yes, I realize I'm, like, talking about boring school stuff when you guys want the drama, but like I said, you're going to have to bear with me here. And this is never attribute to malice that can be explained by stupidity. And this is a lot of the times where it's like, again, did my boss forget to talk to me and give me a promotion because he hates me and the company secretly wants me to die? Or is it because he forgot because he's an idiot? Like, probably the latter, right? And this is a common one that comes up all the time. Hilariously enough, recently I was watching an Asmongold video and he was talking about it, where it's just like, everyone was like, yeah, it's because those evil politicians. It's like, no, it's because they're stupid. It's because they're stupid. And so these two principles have often helped me when I analyze a situation. And then one other thing I do want to talk about here is that the reality is I'm not on the esports team and have zero say in the matter. This should have been obvious, and frankly, and I will say, I will call out a lot of people, by the way, that brought this up. Like, I was getting tweeted at pretty heavily, and I saw a lot of people properly being like, stop tweeting at Mort. He's not on the esports team. He doesn't make these decisions. You're tweeting at the wrong people. Because you're right. I literally, like, guys, I'm on the sidelines watching this, you know. But there's another part of here that is important. While I am not on the esports team and have zero say in the matter, I trust my team. I trust they are also doing the right thing. Why do I trust them? Well, because of those two razors before. What do I think is more likely? That the esports team is like, you know what we want to do? We want to ruin TFT and we're going to bow down and make bad calls to ruin every... No, that's incredibly unlikely. Or do I think that they're really taking the time to look through all the options and talk to people and interview it? Probably the latter. And so I look at this situation and I'm like, again, the esports team is going to be much more informed than I am. From what I understand, they did a ton of research. Like, from the second that clip went viral, but by the time I got home with my pizza, the esports team was already investigating, talking, doing their analysis, checking the clips. Like, they were going deep, and I was like, cool, you guys got this. Good luck, man. So I trust my team. I think they're doing the right things. Now, a couple other things to note here. As much as I pretend, I'm sorry, that description plus your last... See, I'm getting one guide, by the way. Don't really fit your two razors? Why not? Wait, why not? I trust my team. I think they're doing the right things. Because, again, both Occam's razor and Handler's razor would say that the simplest explanation is we hired the right people, they're doing the right thing, and, you know, even if they made the wrong call, you know, fine, but, like, I'm not saying they did. Like, so yeah, I just don't buy that. Anyway, gonna keep going before I get one guide again. Now, a couple other things to note here. As much as I pretend I'm not, I'm a bit NA biased. I think we saw yesterday on the stream. What was I doing? I was watching Precedent, and I was rooting for Precedent, and every time he was doing, you know, he made a rough call, I was like, damn, come on, Precedent. You know, when he had the wrong items on Loris before he'd moved them to Leona, it was like, come on, you can do it. I'm a little NA biased. I'm not going to lie, right? I try not to be, because I'm the game dev, and we have players all over the world. So I'm a little NA biased, but I try not to be when I can. And so my initial reaction when I looked at the clip was like, wow, yeah, that does kind of look sus. That looks a little bad. That looks a little rough. But I trust the team to look through it and make the right call. And when I look at it from their situation, do you know how easy and rewarding it would have been? It would have been easy and rewarding to punish. It would have been so easy. Man, the team, if I'm in the team situation and they had just been like, you know what? We're not sure, but man, if we punish this guy, the community's going to love us for it. Things are going to be great. It'll set a good precedence. It'll be good. And so if I'm in their situation, I'm looking at that going, yeah, this is like a free win. This is a free win. You know, it would have made things so much easier for everybody. But instead, they lived by this also. They did the right thing. They did a bunch of interviews. They did a bunch of analysis. They did everything they looked at. And instead, they went with, if I'm in their situation, I'm like, man, if I have to make this call, I know the community is going to hate us, but it's the right call. It's the fair call. It's the honorable call. And that's tough. That's got to be such a hard situation to be in, when, again, it would have been so much easier to just be like this. And so, you know, I read a lot of the comments, and it's like, you know, do I think that Riot is being owned by Tencent and bowing down to some China overlord because a player secretly wants the China regime to win the TFT Worlds because that will show their superiority? Or do I believe that what happened was a 20-year-old kid playing TFT, flustered in the moment, made a stupid decision on a 6-loss streak because he was freaking annoyed, like most gamers are when they play the game, and made a stupid call and was just like, fuck this game and whatever? Which of those is more likely? Probably the latter. Probably the latter. You know? And it's like, I just don't see it. And, you know, these two players don't know each other. Do I think if Weijin Iverson makes a misplay, but it happens to benefit dank memes, do I think Weijin is secretly like, come on, NA, let's go? No, I don't. I really don't. So, again, like, with stuff like this, I'm just like, I've watched so many times. I've been watching, you know, I've been casting TFT, hilariously enough, for like 4 or 5 years now. And we've seen so many bad plays that can just be attributed by, like, nerves and stupidity. And it's weird here. Mort is really on the... I'm not on the company line. The company... if I could show you my messages, no one in the company has talked to me. No one in the company has told me to say or not say anything. And in fact, realistically right now, I'm probably going to get yelled at Monday for even saying anything. So I'm not towing any company line, you asshat. I'm telling you that this is how I think through these things. Now, I will say there's a couple other things I wanted to talk about, which is, like, first off, and I know I'm getting towards the bottom of my screen here, but I'm actually kind of happy and sad at the community reaction. Because on the one hand, seeing so many people care is awesome, right? Like, seeing everyone root for Precedent and seeing everyone be like, come on, man, I want to see Precedent do well, you know, I think is great. I think is really, really awesome. I think it shows how big the game has come. It shows how the community has been. I think it's been awesome, and I'm, like, really happy to see that sort of, like, everyone stand up for what they think is right. On the other hand, the negative is one of the things that, again, maybe I'm just naive here. Okay, sorry, I'm getting one guide by Soju now. Don't put third item in Reforge, arguably the best utility item for momentum shift. Okay, look, Soju, here, I'm gonna level with you here. When I look at that play, my first reaction was like, yeah, what was he doing? And then I went back and looked at it a lot closer, and the big thing that swayed me was the fact that he was on a 6-loss streak. And when I put myself in the shoes of somebody who's lost 6 rounds in a row, thinks he's making the right board, he's been doing all the right plays up until then, his nerves are shot, he's a little upset that he didn't make it, and, you know, Soju, I've watched you be in situations where you're no longer out of the tournament and make suboptimal plays. And I think, again, what is the more likely reaction? That he's just tilted and he's just like, I don't know, man, fuck it. Let me just reforge this. Maybe I get something better that'll make me win a round finally, and maybe Vi will work out better. I don't know, man, fuck it. Or do I think he's like, aha, if I lose this round, Lilo wins and China wins more? Which of those is more likely? It's the latter, or it's the first one. It's the thing here. So, and again, okay, see, I'm in the one guide situation. I'm never gonna get through this. But Raptor's talking about China consistently win trading. They're not consistently win trading. There was one instance of it, which was caught 3 days later, and Riot punished it. So, see, and again, like, this is why I also started with, I'm not going to change 95% of your minds. I am telling you how I think of this. It's a world caliber. Soju, I've been watching you guys for 4 years. I have seen many, many misplays from all of you throughout the years. Saying it's a world's caliber play, like, come on, man. You've misplayed many times in the same situation. Don't give me that shit. And to not have the empathy towards another player, like, come on, man. 3 items is 3 item. He's playing on 400 ping. You bitch about 50 ping. He has 400 ping. He tried to put it on there. His nerves are shot. And again, which one do I think is more likely? That he's upset and emotional? Or that he's secretly after, like, come on, man. And I get it. Like I said, I'm not going to change your mind. But that's how I honestly, legitimately feel. So, and again, the negative here I was going to talk about, I'm going to try to keep going through this. So, I'm going to try to keep going through this here, which is, the negative here is this, like, weirdly, like, we're all players of the game, we're all players of TFT, but we're, like, attacking the regions in a weird way. So, I don't know. I mean, Soju's going off on me in chat, which, like, again, I get it, I understand, and that's why, again, it's sometimes hard to tell the truth. I get it, like, Precedent's his boy, I understand, but that's how I see it. So, I don't know. I lost my train of thought here a little bit, trying to respond to that a little bit, but I don't know. And it's weird for me to be like, you know, half of the players who play TFT, you guys are kids. Because one of the other thing I wanted to talk about is that, you know, as much as I hate to admit it, I'm old. I'm old. I've been 20. I've been 25. I know what the emotional reactions are. I know we're in this world where it's easier to bandwagon and overreact and hate things and be like, Riot bad, Riot evil, and China bad, China evil, and whatever. Like, it's so unfortunate. So, I think the point is, see, I'm responding to chat, sorry. I think the point is his misplay is not a reasonable misplay within the terms of nervous reaction or flounder. See, I just disagree with that. I've watched many of you make the same mistakes. And this is the absolute highest pressure. So, you know, I don't know. Because, like, again, one of the things they look at is, like, do these players have any relate? Like, I don't know. So, and again, I started with I knew people were going to be mad at me, and maybe that makes me naive. Maybe that makes me naive that I think a kid got flustered versus, you know, some secret conspiracy to help China win. So, and I will admit, like, one of the things is I am a generally trusting person. So that is a flaw of me. So, and I definitely know, I mean, hilariously enough, actually, Kiting, you can maybe speak to this, but you remember in the Lobby 2 conversations years ago, where a lot of the times you guys were like, hey, but we could cheat in this way, and my reaction was always like, why would you? I don't understand why you cheat. I just don't have the cheater's mentality. You know, it's like, that's not the right thing to do. And you're like, well, we can, so whatever. It's like, that's kind of just my moral stance. So, yeah. I don't know. Is it not human to make mistakes if you're on the spot and under pressure? That's kind of what I'm saying, is like, I don't know. So, and like I said, I also admit, the other thing I will say here is that, again, I'm a very cold and logical person. If I'm wrong here, I will totally admit I'm wrong. If later something comes out and the guy's like, hey, you know, turns out I fooled you all. Yeah, that's a possibility, sure. So, that's a possibility for sure. So again, like I said, this is my personal stance. Top 100 players in the world, nervous and flustered. I have casted like 8 worlds now. I have seen many, many, many misplays. A few worse than this one. So, yes, I will say that. So, yeah, I don't know. Do you think it's just excessive optimism? Absolutely. And I'm fully admitting that. Like, I am admitting that it is possibly a personality flaw here, that I am giving him the benefit of a doubt and being optimistic. I absolutely admit that. Totally admit that. But I am telling you, that's just who I am as a person. Is that I am a generally trusting person, and I default to trust until you disprove that. You know, so I don't know. At this point, I don't know how much more else I can say, because like I said, it's clear that, like, the second I said, like, I don't know, I think he just made a mistake, everyone was mad at me. But again, I'm just going to tell you that's kind of what I feel. I trust the team. I think they looked into it. And it would have been so easy for them to just be like, man, if he was wrong, let's punish him. Let's get the free win. Our reputation's kind of in the shitter. You know, let's get the free win. But they did the right thing. What they felt was correct. So, yeah, I don't know. So there you go. That's, I mean, again, I know this answer is not going to be satisfactory. Maybe I got one guide a little bit here. I got distracted. So there was more I wanted to say, but now I'm just sad. I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm probably going to regret even talking about this. I could have easily just been like, I don't know, guys, not me. I do feel, you know, I feel for Pressman. I was rooting for him. You guys saw it. I was rooting for him pretty hard, but yeah. Anyway. All right, I think that's it. Well, it's probably the last I'll say on it for now. Why am I saving this? I'm not saving this.